Hi folks, Mr. Ackerman here. Thanks for watching. In today's video, I'm going to introduce our second special shooting assignment. It's called Light in the Time of COVID. So let me explain where that title comes from. The other day when I got up, the first thing I did was, of course, make some coffee, and then I started walking around the house, opening up the blinds. It was a sunny day, and the light started coming in through the first window where I opened the blinds. And it kind of caught my eye. It was kind of more brilliant than normal. I guess I was up a little bit earlier than normal, and the sun in the morning comes in at a different angle than during the day. So it caught my attention, and as I opened more and more windows, I noticed I was getting different light coming in, and it also varied depending on how I opened the blinds, like what angle I put them at. So it got me thinking, I wonder if I could use this light, which obviously changes throughout the day and from location to location, in order to create some photos. And the photos could be of anything. They could be photos of the actual lighting patterns coming in. They could be photos of objects that I place in that light. I even got the idea that maybe I could use artificial light like lamps or flashlights or candles, of course following safety procedures, in order to create some interesting light and some interesting photos. So let me show you what resulted. I'm just going to pull myself off to the side there and jump into Photoshop here. So here's the scene that got it all started. This is a photo of the back door to my house, heading out to the backyard, and it's probably, I don't know, maybe like 8 or 9 a.m., maybe on a weekend. Picture me holding my coffee, and I see the light streaming in. But then I start playing with the blinds there, changing their angle, and I notice this. It's just shot from an angle, kind of looking down and a little bit to the side, and I like the way the shadows repeat. There's thick lines, there's thin lines. I focused somewhere up here so they kind of blur as they go into the distance. I like the way they get smaller in size and they're bigger up here. Just kind of a cool little thing to do on a Saturday or Sunday morning with a cup of coffee. And it got me thinking, maybe this could be a thing. So what did I do? Well, I walked around outside to the outside of my house, and you can probably imagine here the sun is coming over my house. It's bouncing off my neighbor's house, which is a very flat and fairly neutral wall, and it sends the light right back into here. So this looks pretty dark, but it's actually quite bright with that reflection. And I talked to you about a milk box in my house in a previous video. Well, here it is. And I think I showed you this same photo. I like the photo because it's got that old characteristic to it, lots of texture. It's got a lot of character. It shows the age of this thing. It's got a story behind it. But one of the things that helps bring out some of that quality is that the lighting is really soft. And by the way, this would look totally different under different lighting situations. So I got the idea, well, I'll shoot this today, and then I'll come back on another day when the lighting maybe looks a little bit different to see if I can get a completely different view. Here's another one. Went around to the front of my house. Sun is shining down, fairly harsh. On my porch here with this sort of fence, there's a lot of contrast. There's a shadow region, there's a blazingly bright highlight region. But I looked down at the pattern here and I picked out this. I like the way the shapes are formed. There's a hint of form on the fencing here. I like the repetition. I like the sort of unpredictable variety of everything, just because this is so old. All these rails have been bent out of shape and bumped around a lot over the years. There's texture. There's not much color, so this would be a good black and white candidate. But anyway, a fun little abstract photo, and it got me thinking, yep, this can definitely be an assignment. Here's one that I took later in the day. Now the sun is coming from the other side, and maybe you can tell by the yellowy color of it, it's a warmer light. It is sunset light. It's cutting across the brick there, across the garage. It caught my eye again just because it was so different. The regular pattern of the man-made bricks creates this, and these softer lines, shadows here, are created by a hedge that is just out of the frame on this side. So there's kind of that man-made and natural aspect to it. which I enjoyed. What I ended up doing was cropping in just to show off that light pattern and the contrast between the two, the sharp shadows here and the softer ones there. It's not an award-winning photo, but it's just a fun way to get yourself interested in how different light at different times of day creates different patterns. And there's nothing stopping me from having my son or daughter or my wife do a little photo shoot in here. I could put them against this and I'd have a cool background with some interesting light coming across them. Going back to this one, the softness of the light in this area and the plainness of this brick wall means, hey, go do a photo shoot there. So there's more than just the objects you find in an area. You can use the different light to shoot photos of the people who you are cooped up with at this time. Now, for my grade 12s and grade 11 veterans, or for anyone in the grade 10 or grade 11 Rising Star class who are interested, you guys are invited, encouraged, challenged to do the following. I want you to use artificial light. I want you to think about flashlights, lamps, possibly candles, anything you can find in your house that is not natural, and use that for lighting. So here's the idea I came up with. I grabbed 2 emergency flashlights that I have. They're LEDs, they're fairly bright, and I positioned one low and pointing up against this wall here, and one of them I had to open the closet and put them on a shelf just for a more hip level light pointing this way, and you'll see why in a minute. I positioned my camera down the hallway and low down on the ground, and I did a self-portrait, and here's how it turned out. So I chose a pose that I just thought was kind of relaxed. I actually experimented with a few different poses. In some of them I sat on the ground, in some of them I faced the wall and tried to look like I was really, really bored and kind of in despair at being cooped up inside for all these weeks. But I settled on this one. I really liked the shadow that was created, and you can kind of see there's like a double shadow here. That's because there's 2 light sources. I converted to black and white because there wasn't much color to begin with, and I thought the contrast would show a little bit better. And overall, I'm pretty happy with it, but it's given me some ideas about what I could do differently, like different poses, different camera angles, different lighting angles. I might need to use some of the people in my house to hold the lights and create different effects so that I don't have to keep going to the camera and setting the timer and placing the lights on different levels to see what results. My point is, you can have a lot of fun with this on your own or with the help of others who are in your house. So anyway, that's the basic idea. Now let's just jump into G-Class to see what it is I want you to do officially. And I'll bring my ugly face back into this here. Okay, here we go. So the goal, to explore and photograph light that is available to us while we stay at home during the pandemic. Any camera will do, and any editing software you have access to will be great. Remember, I posted something in the stream that Adobe has graciously made Photoshop and all their other apps available for free for students and teachers until the end of May, so make sure you check that out and try to download. It's a formative assignment at the moment, but I have this funny feeling that some of these photos will end up being used by you as a sort of summative evaluation at some point. Now, 2 to 3 days should be enough to get this done. You need a few days because one day could be cloudy, next day is sunny, then maybe there's some dramatic light from a clearing thunderstorm that comes. I don't know, maybe it snows and then there's reflected light off the ground going in all directions. We'll see what happens. You're going to use that light, and you're also going to use it at different times of day, morning, afternoon, early evening when there's still outside light available. And for the grade 11 veterans, grade 12s, or anyone else who wants a challenge, you could wait till nighttime to use artificial lights indoor. When there's no light coming in from the windows, you can really, really control your artificial light because you don't have to compete with the window light. So, step 1, look around your dwelling and figure out what's going on as I've described to you. Remember, grade 11 veterans and 12s, you got to do this with artificial light as well. Once you've identified locations with interesting light, shoot the light itself, or bring objects into those locations, or people for that matter, and take photos like that. Remember, grade 11 veterans and 12s, you also have to do this with artificial light. Now, how many photos should you take? Well, I'm guessing you're going to do this several times a day, morning, afternoon, early evening, nighttime for grade 11 veterans and 12. So 2, 3, 4 times a day. Maybe you find 3, 4, 5 locations around your house and you take a bunch of photos each time. You do this a few days, you're easily going to accumulate 50 photos. I want you to pick your top 3, your 3 best examples. Grade 11 veterans and grade 12s, at least one of your top 3 must involve artificial lighting. Okay? Step 4, if you have Photoshop, edit your top 3 in Photoshop. If you don't have Photoshop because you either haven't downloaded it yet or maybe you don't have the ability to download it for some reason, then use the editing software in your phone to create the best possible results, and feel free to experiment with black and white. Step 5, you want to rename your top 3. Remember, it's got to be your name dash title, and it's got to be a JPEG, otherwise I can't use them. I don't want to have to figure out whose photo belongs to whom because it wasn't named properly. And oh, by the way, upload your top images to G Drive, I forgot to mention, and put them in a folder which is the title of this assignment, Special Assignment 2, Light in the Time of COVID. Finally, here's a video by a guy named Ted Forbes, which is very closely related to what I'm describing to you. I have to admit I did watch this before I formulated this assignment for you, so it did give me some ideas. I'm really excited to see what he comes up with because he's going to be presenting a series of videos for photographers who are cooped up at this time of social distancing and self-isolation. Anyway, this is scheduled to be posted on Wednesday, April 8th, which means you have all of that day. Thursday and Friday and the Monday are Diamond Days. They're Passover and Easter, Good Friday, Easter Monday. So we're back to school on Tuesday, and I'm also going to give you Wednesday of next week. So you've got also the weekend if you want to do some shooting, plus any shooting over the Diamond Days. It's your choice. You don't have to, but it's up to you. That gives you a full week, lots of different lighting conditions that Mother Nature is going to send to you, and I'm looking forward to seeing your images. So thanks for watching, and stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.